This is the JOYFull podcast. Thank you so much for listening to it. My name is Ethan Edward Sherritt. I'm the host, and sometimes I have a co-host. I love it when I have a co-host. With compassion, a sense of humor, and sincerity, we're going to be part of this huge motion of positivity that is going to start solving some of the world's big problems. We're going to have conversations with individuals willing to share from widely varying backgrounds. I'm going to share with you my own imperfect journey, very imperfect, and I'm going to teach what I learn about positivity and mindfulness practices from people and disciplines that have helped me, and I want to allow that to help you. Thank you so much for listening. God bless, and namaste. Let's have fun.
Reach enlightenment now? Is that what you're
I
saying?
seriously don't remember the timer going down.
Forever.
It was mostly me because I've been trapped, cabin fever in a van from Richmond, Virginia to down to Abingdon, Virginia, Byrum's town. Byrum is Geisler, Byrum Geisler. He directed a movie with his own blood, sweat, and tears, funded it. Took 10 years writing it and putting himself through film schools, devouring screenwriting books. Am I not doing this right?
No,
is an attorney, 31 years, but says, you know what? I love films. There's a story I want to put on film. I'm going to basically get a PhD in film while on the side while I'm an attorney. And become, I mean, you can watch this. We were just talking in the first part before we realized it wasn't recording that just this past week, it accidentally got like pirated onto YouTube, and in 7 days, like over 50,000 views. The reviews are like, amazing, 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 hated it. Amazing, 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 hated it. Why did you hate it? Amazing, 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 hate it. Which is a really good track record to have. And Byron cast me in that thing. And so he gave me a lot of work. I've always wanted to get a podcast with him. I don't know if we have to revisit everything that we said, because it was mostly me anyway.
Yeah. This will just save you from having to edit a bunch of things out.
So you're about to talk about reviews, I think? Or were you talking... Oh!
No, you were talking
about having...
fire here.
Yeah. Am I extremely red?
No.
Really?
Why?
Because I'm cold, but I can't warm. You know, I'm cold, but I feel my face on fire.
Do you want a blanket?
No, these down things are awesome. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. It's 30 degrees in this part of Virginia right now, Abingdon, Virginia.
It is cold.
Yeah. And I was boiling myself in the vehicle and got out into 30 degrees with a biting wind chill. You were going to talk about what it was like to cast in a movie that's primarily gay.
Right.
Would you even stumble across this film if you were not gay?
You might if you're a fan of Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen.
If you watch Pride and Prejudice several times on Netflix,
you might.
It's going to suggest this.
Well, if you search for Pride and Prejudice on YouTube, then this might come up.
Good.
Maybe.
Okay.
But so.
But a couple of your lead actors are straight.
Yes, we were talking about that. That's when you whipped out the microphone.
That's what you said.
Sensing that I was about to say something controversial. I was just saying that I guess there's this whole issue of not an issue, but necessarily, but casting straight actors to play gay parts or gay actors to play gay parts, and whether that's important or not. And
did you take a lot of crap from reviewers for that?
No, I really didn't. I took some people didn't like that.
Don't say anything discriminating.
Okay.
Can you put your hand out as if you're saying this to me?
What?
Just continue.
Oh, so that I'm like talking to you?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm having to act. So some people, there's a fair number of people that really hate the movie, and really hate it. And I think that I've tried to analyze why that is, because a lot of people love it. And so I'm trying to sort through what makes the difference. Why are there so many people that love it, but then there's a lot of people that, not a lot, but a fair number of people, gay men, that hate it. And I think they kind of fall. I think the people that hate it fall into two different categories. But I think one thing is that the character of Lee really struggles with his sexuality. He really struggles to come to terms. He's, a factory worker in Southwest Virginia, and his circle of friends, that would be a very difficult, it'd be very difficult to come out. And
why? Because he's a working class guy in the South or in a rural. Let's not say South.
I think he's around a lot of people that he perceives would not be very understanding, and he's lived his whole life projecting this straight guy image.
How cool of that is of you to cut me off and say, and I'm cutting you off to commend you for cutting me off, that I said Southern and working class. Bullshit. You're saying more basic. People in his circle.
Right. And
that can be
anywhere.
Wealthy, it could be Korean, it could be
right.
It could be a lot of different diversities.
And so that's a central theme to the movie, is him coming to terms with himself and accepting himself, and I don't want to say, and forgiving himself for all these bad feelings he's had about himself. And I think there's a fair number of people that have reacted negatively to the film because they don't like even acknowledging that still exists. They don't want that to still be an issue, and in their world, we either have or should have progressed beyond that. And so when they see a movie with a character who spends a lot of the movie struggling with his sexuality, it solicits an emotional response from them that, oh my God, aren't we over this yet? And so they hate the movie. And I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree. I don't think we're over that. And I think a lot of, and I'm not even making a comment on trying to talk about how the world perceives gays. I'm talking about individual people that struggle with dealing with that internally. And I know they exist. That was difficult for me. I know that's difficult for a lot of people. It still is at all. I mean, it probably always will be. I don't know. But anyway, so I think that's one aspect of it that causes people to not like it. A few people that don't. But
do they say as much?
No, they don't say that, but they just talk about how much they hate the movie, and then they talk about,
oh, like this is so from the 80s or 90s. This is like,
they don't even get into that. But I think that comes through.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
This is not. But
that makes perfect sense to me, and I can see from if my life was a certain way, and I was totally comfortable or whatever, or it's kind of not cutting people a break. If you're gonna say that to have that tension, to respond to your peers in a way that gives you conflict is like weak. Oh man. Have you ever heard of Frederick Douglass?
Yes, I mean, maybe not the same one.
This dude wrote, and I'm getting this secondhand from an amazing inspirational podcaster. He talked about how the most oppressed life you can imagine of being enslaved.
Okay, what's the same Frederick Douglass?
Delivered. Yes, it is. I should have said that. I swear.
Is this some guy from Henrico, or is this?
Yeah. Kudos on knowing the locality, man. I don't know where he's from. But this podcaster said there are journals you can read where people didn't want to leave their friends to get out of slavery. And he wanted you to see that, like, look, dude, I'm talking to people who are trying to put down the ice cream. I'm trying to talk to people who are like, give up this habit or that habit to better themselves. And I'm giving you that it's not easy. It's so not easy. There's so much pressure that there were dudes in the worst circumstances alive that didn't know where to go to if they left their friends, and therefore were going to stay.
Well, whatever rut you're in
with friends
can be very comforting, you know.
Yeah, so that's a rut that could exist.
Yeah.
What if we did record that first bit? Is there anything that could be clarified? Clara. You were talking about it, you are kind of waiting to, you don't know how you're going to make another movie.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about that. I mean, this whole movie this whole idea just presented itself to me. It all just sort of fell into place, and it just seemed to all happen. And I've been trying since then to come up with something else to make a movie. It's really been difficult. I just haven't felt that kind of drive or passion to do something else.
Okay.
I'd love to, though.
It might take 5 years, man. Either to get that drive or to open up in a different way that you can pursue a different type of drive, maybe.
Right.
I think that's possible. I haven't gotten that yet.
I guess I have this feeling that like the sophomore jinx is going to hit because everything went so well on the first one in terms of, none of us knew each other, and everybody, flew in here not knowing anybody, and we all really got along well and lived together and made this movie, and then it was really a magical experience, and the weather all cooperated, and everything, just everything that could have gone right went right. And you see all these horror stories of people trying to make independent films and everything going wrong that can go wrong. So I think I'm kind of due. The yin and yang.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I've got a really bad experience coming up.
Well, if there's anybody listening that could possibly send a script that's getting good feedback from those who read it, or something, that want to watch Byrum's work and say, hey man, how about another project? He's going to shoot you down so quick because it didn't come from him. No, I'm just playing. That's not how you said you were open to reading people's scripts for a while.
Right, yeah.
That's how you have to do it if you aren't writing yourself, right?
The problem, that's true. The good thing about when you're writing your own script is you know what you can do and what you can't do. I mean, you know what you have locations for, so you can really make it work.
And you knew that in part of the writing.
Right. I just wrote things that I knew I could film.
And that seems so challenging to not use the same boundaries. Right.
I mean, you see these scripts for independent films that have explosions or spacecraft, or that's just not going to happen. So, or even like a motorcycle stunt, unless how are you going to do that? So,
you know anybody with a flatbed truck?
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
Well, we can take care of that with this. Give me a scratch pad.
Okay, first of all, everybody's comfortable with doing your own stunts, right?
No, I cannot.
But
I think there's a chance we did get what we were talking about before.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I think this is just your interviewing technique.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I think it is. I think you record a bunch of stuff and then you act like you're not sure you got it, and then you can revisit it without having to
faster. Without Oh, that's a really
See, I'm
exciting
on to
meeting.
you.
You're a director, for sure. Like, all right, can we do that in 10% of the time? Nice.
It's actually a good idea.
You're right. I'll take it seriously. I thought of an app that like you get to log. I haven't looked for it yet. I'm sure there's one. It's like the 10,000 hours principle. That if you practice piano for
Oh, I
10,000
gotcha.
hours, you'd be able to fill a concert hall, you know, or you'd be competent, like super good. And so if there's an app that you can just you load into things that you'd like to do that with, and you just I got just done with 40 minutes, and you just put that in. It can tell you how far you are from being a maestro, or how far you are from winning Wimbledon.
But you know, if that same theory applied to scenes, like if you just kept doing the scene over and over again, but it doesn't work that way.
It probably works
because
the opposite.
it gets like bad.
Depressing.
It's like super stale and. Good morning. How are you?
Somebody's got to take that thing out back, put it down.
Because there's this definite, I don't know. It seems to me a definite arc. We didn't do a lot of rehearsals. You know, we would start the scene and we would do the lines, and like the first take would be usually pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then the second one would get better, and the third one would be better, and then like the fourth, fifth, sixth, great, and we were ready to move on.
Yeah. You're just checking out, will this work? That won't work. If you get one of those scenes that's like, holy F, that was good. You know, those
That
are
happened a few times.
Few and far between, but those are what keep you hanging on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was always like, it seemed like it was like the fifth or sixth time
Okay.
that they would be.
Yeah.
Now, there's some that were 9, 10. None
Yeah.
more than that. But then you would see that you're going to start getting diminishing returns if you keep.
The funny thing about film sets is that if it's because of the performance of the people on camera, nobody ever says, like, let's do another one for performance. They always mask it and say, like, oh, there was a shadow. Can we get rid of that shadow and try this again?
The dark shadow of a bad performance.
Yeah. There's an airplane. You know, let's go again. It's a beast. It's a fun project, man. That is my style, I guess, until I change it.
What's that?
To like ramble through it and then try to tighten it up.
Oh, that's
And
good.
if anybody knows of like a podcast app that literally takes away silences, like with one pass, that would be so
Why don't you
awesome.
invent that? So you say, I need to talk faster? Like, respond
No.
quickly?
Oh, like
More energy, up.
So what you say
You're
is on
dying
the heels,
here.
What you say is on the heels of the question. Like we weren't like gazing
Oh, so
stupidly
it's not-
like it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday before somebody says anything.
Well, I noticed that, like, even in our film, that, like,
It'll take a minute.
there's so much just dead silence
Why
between
are you doing that? Okay. Particularly with me, because I was in that movie.
the lead, you and Chase.
There's an ensemble. There's some really fun, awesome people.
Oh, they were great. Jason, did you ever talk to him? Brandy?
I follow along with what Jason is doing or what Brandy is doing through social media and stuff. And Brandy is never not having fun, it seems like.
I know.
And she's going to be...
Jason just directed some, a short, I think.
Wow.
Or is it a television series, maybe?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang, Jason. Good for him. He was definitely an inspiring guy.
He was. He was great.
That was awesome. There's somebody walked in.
My daughter.
Ah, all right.
Hey, Kate. Yeah? What are you doing? What'd you say?
I gotta pee. And I love you.
Love you too.
All right, you want to just hang out, talk about anything else you want to discuss? What it's like to do anything?
How long do you edit? What do you edit this to?
It's my sister has told me, 2 sisters actually have told me if it's over 40 minutes,
Ooh.
people won't listen to it. And I'm trying to not be that person who says I'm different.
Yeah.
And it's like,
40
so
minutes
you're
seems
right.
like a long time.
Yeah.
Do you think you have 40 minutes?
Yeah. So we could have a.
No. Did you have 40 interesting minutes?
Oh no. We have like 20 solid ones. 20 really good
Well, you
ones.
could call this like a half podcast or like.
Yeah. Sometimes I say not an episode. Chat.
A
Don't
chat.
say no.
Yeah, I'd like a chat.
Yeah,
I think
it's
a
not an
chat's
episode.
good.
Quick reunion with a friend. So thank you for.
A chat with a friend that it was sort of like pulling teeth to try to get him to say. I'm your Bob Hope.
Yeah. Wait.
Johnny Carson hated Bob Hope
Why?
because apparently he had to like be super scripted
Uh-huh.
and he couldn't be spontaneous or
Bob Hope.
Bob Hope. He had to be like really written out.
And Carson was the
And
opposite?
Carson was like trying to like, and Bob Hope was just giving one corny line after another, whatever they had agreed on, and like if they varied it, he was just
He nailed it.
stiff.
Huh? Yeah.
And so he just hated having
He
him.
knew what he was good at, and that's it. All right, interesting. And Carson was a cut up. Have you been hiking lately?
No, I haven't been much at all.
Okay.
I wanted to go, but I haven't been.
Okay.
But the leaves were wasn't much going on until recently. Then there was this beautiful color, and then it got super cold 2 days
Okay.
ago. And then when the sun hit the leaves this morning, everything fell out of the trees. I did get out and film some of that though. That was interesting.
Wow,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
On your phone or?
I've got a little GoPro.
Cool.
I didn't drag the red one out.
Yeah, the red one. Is it a red one?
Yeah, it's like one of the originals.
Nice. It's legit. Every piece of equipment in this place is absolutely like legit, man. People can tell that.
So you've had some people fall in love with you over this film, haven't you?
I have.
So what's that like?
I was asking you, like, if you've heard of anybody is that just men? Are we that way? We're like, hey, like, I guess I've thought of doing that with very few women. Like, and I know it won't work.
Like seeing somebody and
Yeah, like Rosario Dawson. Like, I feel
like you
I-
kind of fall for their character in a film
Yeah.
or something, and then
Yeah.
you feel like compelled to.
Yeah.
I guess everybody's felt that.
Like, would you want to? I think everybody's really cool enough to say, I don't expect anything. I just want to commend you and say, I'm going to follow you. I really dug Byrum's movie. It's called Before the Fall. And they are just congratulatory. So as reviews, as a public forum, people are being really, 99 are awesome. And then there's like the one that's like, I would have done everything different. This is the worst, you know?
One guy really gave me specific suggestions for. I mean, he loved the movie, but he had like specific edits, like at 1 hour, 2 minutes and 40 seconds cut to such and such. I mean, it's like,
My God.
I really wanted to do it
You
just
told
to
me
see.
about that
Yeah,
guy. That would have.
I would really like to do that just to see what.
How could you just transfer the files and let him do it?
Oh my gosh, that would be impossible. I mean, I guess you could. You know, the problem is you put all these.
But he's not talking about any footage that he didn't see.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. It's like, oh my gosh, if you could see the rest of the footage, who knows what decisions you would make? You know.
So just send him a raw copy of the final.
You know, it'd be really interesting to do that.
Yeah, people used
Somebody
to do
that's
that type of shit.
somebody that's that into
Jimi
it.
Hendrix would do that. with,
Somebody
like,
that cares that much.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really flattered that he would take the time to like, because I've done that. I mean, I've seen a movie or movies that I felt that in love with that I thought about enough to think,
like if it did one.
I
small
wish you'd
thing
done this or I
different.
wish you'd done that. You know.
Mm.
And you know, I mean, I recognize that really only somebody that really is into what you did would take the time to do that. You know, I mean, it comes
Yes.
across as a criticism, but it's really
Yes.
not. It's really the ultimate compliment that they would put that much time into thinking about it. And this thing about people contacting you and Chase and some of the others, you know,
old and young, black and white.
You know,
A lot from.
I mean, we worked
Middle
on,
East.
We worked
a
on
lot from Vietnam.
We worked on that really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we.
And thank you guys. If you're listening to this, if you stumbled across this, if I don't, I definitely like and give like a heart smiley face to, because nobody said anything that I don't super appreciate.
Right. Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Well,
And
we,
they're
you know, we
very
tried
gracious.
we tried super hard to do that. I mean, with the whole, well, you know, we were trying to, you know, put a lot of truth into these characters and reveal things about them that would make people relate to them. I mean, that was the whole idea. That was the whole point, was to, you know, reveal truths about yourself and about these characters that other people could relate to, so that they would care about these characters and care about what happened to them, and, you know, be invested in the story and get something out of it, get some, you know, something positive back in their life from watching it. So, you know, in a way, the whole point was to reveal enough about these characters to where you did care about them. So how can you then be surprised that people end up caring about your characters? You spent, you know, you put every bit of energy you had into trying to make that happen.
To me, I really think that means its heart is in the right place, because the people who thought it was a statement about what it feels like for other people were very. You said you got some of that feedback, like you were making a statement, they don't agree with your statement, but the people who applied, like things applied to them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
like,
they really.
Yeah, it was like, this is about you, man. It's about me.
Right.
Yeah. Take from it what you will. Cool.
Well, that's probably a good note to end on.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
And thanks for waiting until something else is like good and not just doing something really crappy and throwing your entire law career down the drain when it's not a good inspired piece.
You know what would be great would be to use the exact same cast and do something totally different.
I mean, is there any precedent at all?
I don't think so.
That funny Mighty Wind and that.
Oh yeah, they do stuff together all the time.
Yeah, it's like the same group of comedians.
And it's always like Best in Show.
Right.
Oh my god.
Best in Show. Did you like Best in Show?
I love that movie.
I gotta revisit that if I get time. Yeah. All right, good ending. So everybody, please support your films, and remember that if somebody made their own film and it wasn't made through unlimited funds by 20th Century Fox, watch it with different eyes, see how it affects to you. And thank you for the love, all the people that did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's great to
and
hear.
thanks, Brian. What's going on lately? Man, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Like job-wise. I mean, I don't know. It can be good. Like every morning I'm thankful for A, B, C, D, and E.
Right.
Thankful. But then I'm like, follow the correct path. It's not maybe filing this kind of thing that I've filed, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And then having somebody tell me like, you used blue ink on that checklist. There was like one of the checks was blue, so the internal auditing is going to look for that. And I'm like, all right. And this is not like the parts of like a leasing agreement, a rental agreement that's going to go to court.
Right.
This is internal.
Somebody just
It's completely arbitrary.
focusing on some rule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's enough of them that it takes, like, you got to really try to make sure you don't screw anything up if you're in a hurry or if you're thinking about something else, which I'm always thinking about something else. So it's good, but they're recognizing that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to my sister about this the other day, and I was like, I try hard to, when the, ntth person for the day has some complaint or whatever, I try to focus on how lucky I am that that's what's bothering me, as opposed to.
Do you ever say like white guy problems?
Yeah. I always say first world problems.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do too, man. I do too. So maybe it's that, that maybe I didn't have when I was younger, when I would bitch about stuff. So that's what's so cool, is that were you doing that before you started producing? Before you started writing? Or did you have that kind of like balanced, thankful attitude?
No. Before I got to make
you were a
our
spiral
movie,
of darkness?
I was...
So you were...
I was this walking energy sucking downer. I really was. I mean, I spent a lot of time just thinking, what am I doing? You're wasting your life. Yeah, I was really...
All right.
And it's so funny because, like, those thoughts still creep in occasionally, and
yeah.
I'm really able to redirect.
I swear, man. They say it's a practice.
Being able to take your mind down the right path.
Mm.
And I used to be really bad at that.
Mm. Something came out of it. And now there's another thing to it, right? Don't kick ourselves for that. Don't treat that like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Treat that like something that a lot came out of to build on.
Yes.
Well, maybe. So, yeah, so I'll do little fun videos. Have you ever heard the term gamify?
No.
You got, maybe one of my favorite podcasters said that a lot. It's like, if you don't like where you're at, see if you can gamify a couple of things each day. Make those things that you're doing like a little game, so you can check them off and be like, pat on the back, I played that little game today.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
like
sense.
You won that person over. Like that was a person that was going to just come in guns blazing, and you got them to like act like a human being. Does that ever happen?
Well, I do things something a little similar to that, but it's probably a little crazier, which is like try to think of like a character in a movie that I like, and then pretend I'm that character.
What's an example of one?
I don't know. Like if I have some difficult case or something, like I'll try to pick like somebody that seems like always in command and knows what they're doing and doesn't get easily ruffled, like, I don't know, Margaret Thatcher, just anybody, just any kind of pick somebody with the qualities that are needed to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it helps you be relaxed, I guess. Or
somebody who doesn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
And doesn't
well, if it's not you, then it's just a lot easier
Interesting.
to deal with.
That's the Batman theory. Or in this case, Margaret Thatcher. Thatch.
Yeah.
Thatch, man. Man. Oh.
I forget, it was some scene at the cabin. And like we were working on something, we were talking, and we were trying to figure out how to get through the scene or something, and I was like saying we were talking about what we needed, and you said what we really need is an action verb. Which is exactly right. That's exactly what we needed. You remember that?
No.
Or maybe it was an objective.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something.
Okay.
Something we weren't getting.
An action word.
An action verb or objective.
So did we take a shot at
something
it?
for this character to do in this scene.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like I feel a little bit naked.
Like lost or...
Yeah.
Not sure where this is going.
Byrum, thank you for having me over, man.
Oh, yeah. This is great. I was so excited when I got your message.
All right. So, I'm glad you were in town.
Yeah.
And down.
Oh, yeah.
This is Byrum. Byrum is a film director, film producer, but he's been an attorney for...
Ever. 31 years.
Okay.
No, 30 years. 30 years.
31 years. But quite a long time working on putting yourself through film school and everything. That's cool, man. Writing books, screenwriting books. And now you have a movie that literally people download by the hundreds.
Did you see that?
I don't know.
It was somebody put it on I guess what's it called when they just take it and download it? to where anybody can watch it.
Without paying?
Yeah, like a bootleg copy or just.
Oh.
I mean.
There's one called BitTorrent or something like that.
I don't know, but someone took it and just put it on YouTube. And I was going to complain and take it down.
Yeah.
But it got like 7,000 views the first day.
No way.
So I was like so excited by that, and then it's been on there for a week now, and it's gotten over 50,000 views.
What?
Yeah.
A whole new audience.
So
oh my gosh.
I was just so excited that many people were watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That Brandon
awesome.
Thinks I should take it down.
A lot of people struggle. They make a movie that they fund themselves, that they pull together a team for, that they write themselves, and to get that kind of audience.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
I hope that this conversation makes it into the podcast, and I hope that somebody hears it who's like, dang, in the last 1 week with this film, he's gotten 50,000 folks to watch it. That's cool.
And there were a lot of nice good comments. One was like, so boring.
So boring.
But,
Yeah.
People like different things. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But again, just like we were talking about before, I'm really happy to at least have the opportunity to read a bad comment like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the opportunity to even like make a movie and have people.
My freaking 4K widescreen dramatic feature got a bad review.
Terrible.
Yeah.
One said it was. No, I shouldn't talk about all the bad stuff.
The bad stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But you can contextualize it as a learning thing.
Well, he really didn't like it. He called it unrelentingly stupid. Like, not just that it's stupid, but that it's continually. It's almost like it works hard. Like unrelentingly stupid. And he even he wrote this really big long review of it on the page where that was. But then he had to hunt down the movie, and
to leave his review.
To leave it the same review somewhere else. Like he's putting this review in different places.
So you probably had this guy's freaking brain for 2 or 3 hours.
More.
I watch movies I don't like all the time. All the time.
Yeah, I do too.
And I watched a short that one of my friends made in LA the other day, like a 6-minute movie. Fun, good pace. And I was like, I owe it to her to get through this. This looks awful. And then sure enough, bam, something pivoted. And I was like, oh, these people are doing a great job. Yeah, they have a voice.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
6 minutes, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, one of those little calling card maybe type things. Like, look at this, like how I chose a topic and it has a pace to it and it has performances that fit.
Right.
Yeah. Fit.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The movie we're talking about with Byrum Geisler is Before the Fall. On IMDb, what would the year be? 2015?
2016, I think.
Okay. All right, so look for Before the Fall.
Starring.
Well, there's a lot of people. It's an ensemble cast, but Byrum hired me in this thing, and it gave me more work than I've gotten to do on, have a script and every day for weeks be a part of that. It was really cool.
Really fun.
And I've wanted that for so long, and that was my big break. Yeah. So that's who we're talking to, and he's cool enough to have a conversation. Thank you, Brian, for listening. I haven't said that. I think I'm going to go see Brian in Nashville.
Oh, really?
The guy who I always say thanks to.
Oh, okay. I wondered who that was.
Oh, yeah? Cool. So you did listen to it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I loved it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There's, 30 or something.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it, Byrum, but one of the things I'm trying to, crack or pivot to is, really how to vibe with it. And not just in the pocket of my day after I've done what is required.
Right.
How to, really vibe with it. So I'm pretty close to that. I'm still striving. I want to get to the point when people I talk to who have professional jobs, they could even be a policeman, a mayor, something that people would have a reason to critique, ridicule what they said, and even go after their career because they said something that a mayor shouldn't say.
Right.
You know, I want to get to the point where people realize that you can give your first and last name, and people do that because they're not just like, they're almost like embracing the fact that everybody has something we're trying to all deal with, figure out, and your attitude about it can be like a source of positivity for yourself.
Right.
Your law firm is awesome. They are really good at what they do.
They are.
Especially casting.
Yeah. And locations.
Locations.
I think the last time you were here, we were going to do this.
Yeah,
I think I was in a pretty dark place. I think you realized it was going to be.
So we're going for it, man.
Short and
short
and uninspiring.
Jeez. Maybe it should be. So if you want to open up about that, I can take out your first and last name. I can take out the title of the film, and we'll just go there. We'll be like for those people that are like, work, strive. Tonight, I'm taking myself down. I'll pick myself.
You want the truth?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I guess I wanted those types of conversations. For sure. Like, this guy's freaking pissed off. You know? This town, man. Can we brag about this town?
It's a great town. Abingdon. It's beautiful.
Abingdon, Virginia. Beautiful. It's, how far would you think it is from Nashville? Well, it's closer to Bristol, Tennessee on that side of the state. Really close to the Tennessee border in Virginia.
Right. I don't know. I'd say it's exactly halfway between Knoxville, Tennessee, and Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. In the Smoky Mountains.
Right.
No, am I wrong?
Are
there Blue Ridge or are there?
We're in the Blue Ridge Mountains, but I guess the Smoky Mountains aren't that far away.
And what's the other one? Shenandoah? That's way up north, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of Shenandoah Valley's up northeast from here.
Cool.
So
people's interests are hiking.
Yes, the Appalachian Trail is very close by.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of outdoor activities.
And the film just happens to have a lot of characters who let you see into that a little bit.
Right.
They, on Friday night, they're packing their gear up and they're just talking to friends. It's not like hashtag Appalachian Trail. It's just like, I need to clear my head and I'm going to this awesome place that we're close by, or we're lucky enough to be close to. So hiking.
A lot of hiking.
Mm-hmm. So I'll finish talking now. You can talk. Do you think you're ever going to write a movie again?
You know, I really want to now. Lately, I've really gotten sort of back to really wanting to do that again. The problem is, it's the first one came. I mean, what I wanted to do just sort of happened, and it came to me, but that hasn't happened again. So it's like I sort of forced myself to start thinking about ideas. But it's like, how can you not come up with an idea for a movie when there's limitless possibilities? But I haven't really, I don't know, the one we did, I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I was just, almost obsessed with doing that. And, the other thing, too, is I never made a film before. So I always thought, well, I'll get this done in a year. Well, it took 10 years, but I didn't know. I didn't know how much it was going to take to get it done.
10 years, yeah.
And then, so now I know that, and it's really hard to start up again. But I would really like to do it. I would really like. I mean, I think I can. I think I learned a lot, and I'm still. Oh my gosh, and I'm still. I talk to Brandon all the time, and he's dying to make another one.
Not the camera operator, the cinematographer, or he helps you with the shots.
Yeah, cinematographer Brandon. So he's all eager to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just talked to Chase a couple days ago.
Okay.
And
yeah,
Chase
was Connor. Where is he? Oh, he was in an accident.
He was in an accident. Yeah, but he's doing well, and he's got a script he wants me to take a look at. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, he broke some ribs, and did he rupture his spleen?
You know
broke
he
his
said
pelvis.
He was stabilized like this weekend.
Yeah.
Stabilized. And I could have sworn he said he was at Cedars-Sinai in L.A. Did he go to L.A.? Is there a Cedars-Sinai in New York?
I think he moved to L.A.
All right.
I think he's been out there.
Jeez, freaking traffic in L.A. Well, God bless him that he's all right and that he's actually got time to say, you know who? Maybe he finished the script when he was laid out with no spleen.
I'm not sure he even wrote the script. It might be a friend of his.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could happen. I'm gonna go and crap. I'm gonna say, dude, I got it. I got your script. It's almost as if someone had no spleen. No. All right. Well, maybe that's part of the process.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different type of project. Man, one of the things as a train goes by, same train that probably rolls right through Richmond.
My gosh.
That
yeah.
I mean, it gets coal from somewhere.
Buchanan County.
Okay, and then it
Dickinson
takes it
County.
to the ports at the Atlantic Ocean.
Newport News.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it lights the street lamps for
China, I guess.
Yeah. Our understanding.
It's rudimentary at best. And there you have it.
Yeah. What else, man? Your kids are in college. One of them is in college. One of them is in 10th grade.
No, she's in. She graduated early from high school, so she's going to the community college, and then going away for school this fall. But she's just now applying to schools, so I don't know where she'll be.
That's the path that I took.
That's a great way to go.
Yeah, I remember it was $53 per credit hour.
Yeah.
And when I was a complete waster of time in high school, that allowed me to like grab my teachers and say, why am I getting a B? Can I take this again and have an A? And they were like, okay, you're gonna do that if you take it again. So, and then with that, I was able to get into a whole VPI.
What year did you graduate?
It was after 2000, for sure.
Keep forgetting you're a lot younger.
Yeah. It was before 2019.
Somewhere in there.
Let me see. How do you find it? I wonder if I'm still on your Wi-Fi.
Oh, is that what you need?
I don't think I do. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Hi, Jack. Hey, bud. You have an orange shirt. I was driving. Drove a long way. Oh, yeah, not to Nashville yet. I stopped halfway. 1 year ago, you saw my friend Byrum here.
Hello.
Hi, Byrum. Byrum has a piano. He doesn't have a cat. You still don't have a cat?
No. I had a cat, a stray cat.
I have a cat right here.
Where's Jazz?
Here.
Oh, I see your cat.
That's a great cat. Is that another cat?
No, same one.
Oh, same one.
There's just one.
Just one Jazz. He's furry. All right, Jack. Well, did you find that blue engine?
Yeah.
Good. All right, now I can go to sleep. And the green car. What are you guys going to watch after you hang up?
Just a few more minutes.
A few more minutes? All right. Well, it was good to see you, buddy boy. I drove. It was cold. I love you, okay? Good night, sweet Jack. All right, you too. Read a book before Watch just a couple more minutes. All right.
Bye.
Good night, Jack. Love you, bud. This works good. This works really good. Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams.
So cute.
Yeah. That works a
He's
really
growing
good.
up.
Yeah. He's gonna be 3 in. Oh, he's gonna be 3 in 10 days.
Oh my gosh, that's hard to imagine.
Or like 8 or 9 days. Yeah. Seems like a minute ago. So he was here, you know?
Uh-huh.
And he was just kind of babbling. Oh, he was sick.
Oh, he's sick, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I thought maybe he'd been here twice. No, just once, I guess.
Passing through once? Yes, you saw him twice.
Yeah.
Because one time, we
Because for a
picked
while
him
there,
up
you were
early
going.
enough that we could swing up the road, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
So I saw him once when he wasn't feeling well, and once when he was feeling good.
Yeah. All right, so we could wrap up the podcast, man.
Oh, I forgot you were doing. Did I say anything?
I mean, it's about joyfulness and people waking up to like a different way of doing things. We're all in the digital age and the like no holds barred age, like when a president can be legitimately real, saying F-bombs, and you know, like there's a few facades that have come off. Some of our favorite celebrities have songs and tweets and things like that are absolutely like dirty. It obviously, like in the 50s, they would have. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even have dreamed of saying some of these things, even in the 80s, right? If you were an absurdist, or if you were George Carlin.
I wonder, I don't know. Some of that's good, some of that's bad.
Some of it's bad, but I think that people are waking up to the fact that that kind of thing is what can change about us. And when you sit in a class with people who are like, you know what, I'm going to be dead before too long, I'm going to be dust again. I'm not going to choose this life that gets me down. All I can do is serve, be a good part of somebody's day, be a good part of learn how to be a good part of my day, and share that. That's kind of what I'm trying to do, is share that. And I hear people doing it, and it's a kind of a, I guess I do slightly pay attention. Like one of my favorite podcasters is Joe Rogan, and he pays attention like crazy. And I kind of know the take on things from what he says.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one guy.
Well,
No. My take comes from like just how old, you know, the universe is, and how good some parts of this experience are, and that you can embroil yourself. You can surround yourself with something that's kind of proven to bang your head against the wall until you die. Like left versus right.
well, it's super easy, I think, to take tons of time for granted. You don't, you walk along the street and it's a beautiful day,
Mm-hmm.
and just the experience of that moment, you're totally out of it. You're not, you're just not even
Yeah.
not
Not
there.
being mindful.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
experiencing that. You're not thinking about that. So it's really, I try to do that. I try to, stay there and appreciate and notice it and appreciate it and enjoy it, as opposed to just taking it for granted, because that gets so easy.
Yeah.
But it's
Take
not-
it for granted, and then what do we focus on while we're taking that for granted?
Right.
Then we focus on, I can't believe so and so said this.
Right. This and
that's
that.
what I stopped doing after Bernie Sanders showed that what I would have hoped somebody would do in his position, kind of embrace certain things about both parties, and kind of piss both parties off. In a way, he was by seeing how completely with no chance he had once you realized what they could do with him on just because one party was so set and decided, like they owned him. And I thought that was like, well, I really got invested in this. And now I see something really what feels like insincere throughout the dear old, you know. I never really thought any party was dear, even though when I was in college, I thought that the Republicans were really, really the way to go, because self-accountability. That's the phrase. Mindfulness leads to the need for self-accountability and the future, and an examination of your motives by slowing your thoughts down.
Right.
And that's why I'm slightly positive that more mindful people, they're not pro-MAGA, they're not pro-Republican, pro-Trump because of that, but they are saying we need a new way. And if there's anything like in my book that I can write down at the end of what I'm thankful for, is that it seems like new things are possible. Because definitely there's a guy in the White House who's never been in there before. I'm sure some historian would correct me and say that, like, well, there's a lot of similarities and parallels between him and... Are you a historian?
I like history.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love history.
Was that too much politics for you?
No. You keep up with politics a lot, don't you?
Not anymore.
Really? You don't?
Yeah, I literally stopped. I didn't vote.
Wow.
I didn't vote. I thought...
What?
I mean, I voted this past time for, like, local things that I'm like, of course I
You mean for the midterms?
Yeah. But
Like for the
president,
for the Florida
like,
agricultural sector?
I was like, I saw what this party, like, dismantled this momentum, and I believe whether or not I've talked with my sister while this was going on. I talked about it a lot, and then after that happened, I was just like, you know what? There's a law of attraction, and I could keep on trying to convince people of something that's not even right, that I don't know. But it's a way to spin your wheels when they could be serving something that is more basic, more fundamental. You don't try to figure out things that you don't understand how they even work. You know, and that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get late at night and you're digging into some freaking article about the Clintons and you're posting things on Craigslist and message boards and you're hiring people to expose the banking changes of 1994 when, you know, like as if you have a job, but in every city, and to try to, I mean, I was spending a lot of time. I really, really cared. And I was like, dude, look what I care about. Maybe there is faith that we designed something with a lot of stopgaps, and the race is, will it take 200 years or 350 years, 450 years before this system produces the type of mindset that transcends? I think it can, but it might be like another, like 1,300 years.
Could you imagine?
And I don't
can you imagine what life's going to be like in
on Twitter.
1,300 years?
There's gonna be something, man. It's gonna be some new thing.
This podcast might be like a historical document where, like, you predicted some major change.
Oh yeah, it will definitely have people burying.
Historical
It will
timeline.
have people burying their iPhones
Like
to not hear it anymore.
Magna Carta, like
JOYFull podcast with Byrum Geisler.
JOYFull
and Ethan
podcast
Sherritt.
predicts transcendence in 1,300 years, which is exactly right.
Even that.
You might be a
Even that could fill me with this confidence to go on, because I can be right for like the next several millennia. You know?
And you won't even know it.
Yeah. Jeez.
Or maybe you do know it.
What if you do? What's the point of knowing something that doesn't serve anyone and that falls upon deaf ears? That's the thing, is like, all right, people on the other side of the fence, I love that thing that you love about Romney, about Bush, about Trump. There's like a thing that I really respect you for. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I can do with that person. I can't say this, especially as fervent as it is with the same thing that people complain about is like, oh, because now there's 24-hour news. Now even that is sub-metered down to users about the 24-hour news. Even that is like diving in. And when you go into a yoga class and you really have somebody that inspires you to slow down your thoughts and to think about what makes you possibly not settled. If it's somebody's profession to be a politician, then maybe, you know, that you can leave their advancement spiritually to that. But that's not my business when I'm like, what can I do? Yeah, I heard this thing the other day that was like, that if it's a closed door, listen and see if that door is closed. And then go someplace else that makes you.
Oh, pay attention, listen, get it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I stopped auditioning for like little bit parts that I've sent hundreds in. I'm sure over 100 in the last 2 years. Like, you know,
For
policemen.
films?
For TV shows and some like films. There was a big one really recently that was actually legit that I did say, this is why I trained, this is why I care about a lot of things, is this. So I did do that, but the other ones that are closed doors, don't screw that, man. Let it be.
It's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, for like a freelance position that doesn't pay your way. Maybe it was. Anyway. I just drove 6 hours to get here. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. So we're walking through Byrum's house. I'm going to snap a few pictures from my Instagram like in the morning. What he's done is just so classy with this place on these brick paved paths of Abingdon, Virginia. It's an absolute museum. It's really, really cool.